Hey guys, what's going on? Jetxc here, and I really want to go over this update very quickly. There's really one big point I wanted to point out, but for this week, we are getting a rerun of the Berserk of Night event, and this is very important because the Fiend Hunt, the Berserk, the Giant Fiend Berserk, this is actually a rerun. Last time this was run, there was some issues with the Fiend Hunt event, so they're actually rerunning this over again because of those issues. So when the patch notes are updated, there won't be a practice at all. You'll just go right into the Fiend Hunt without no practice for a week beforehand. It'll just be for one single week, and you just start off that at the beginning of when the update starts, essentially. And yeah, if you want to know what happened, I've talked about it before, but they kind of go over the details in previous patch notes about the issues that happened, which is why they're rerunning it right now for just a week. So other than that, everything else is typical of we've got the typical shop stuff, events shop stuff, right? No big deal, no big deal. Now, Labyrinth Gatekeeper NEBRIS costume. This is a very anticipated costume. A lot of people complain that NEBRIS was very underwhelming. However, we will see how good she is with this one. She looks great. You guys know how I feel about NEBRIS. Definitely one of my favorite characters, easily. But yeah, she looks great. So, what can she do? Well, at +4 for 6 turns, damage dealt to the target is increased by 100%. If you have a damage dealt increase effect, crit damages increases by 200% instead, excuse me. So, if you have the damage dealt increase effect, then crit damage increases by 200% instead for 6 turns. Attack the enemy twice. Each attack deals physical damage based on 125% of your attack. Now, there's actually 2 ways you could interpret this skill. It could be a buff for other units, right? So for 6 turns, any unit that's attacked gets the basically damage dealt is increased by 100%, or well, let me finish that. So it damage is increased by 100%, and then if there is already a damage dealt buff on the unit, then it switches to crit damage increase by 200% instead for 6 turns. Right, and then NEBRIS just attacks 2 times based off of her physical damage, right? Or it is a buff to herself, which I think it's the latter. I think it's a buff to herself, as in she gets her own damage increased by 100%, and then she, if there's already a damage dealt effect activated, then it changes to crit damage increased by 200% for herself. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you have Beachside Therese, right? So let's go to Beachside Therese here. Beachside Therese has the damage dealt increase effect, right? So let's say you activate her costume skill, right? And then after Therese, the excuse me, the skill is activated from NEBRIS, and because you have this effect right here, she then gets the crit damage increased by 200%, and that's what kind of changes things. So we'll have to see, but that's my interpretation of it. I think it is a buff to herself and not her teammates. I could be wrong, though. You guys let me know in the comments. Now, at +1, she is 3 SP. I'm going to be honest. I think you should +1 this costume if you decide to go for her. So whatever you want to do to get it done. Grab a copy, get another in the powder shop. And then I would say her stopping point, if you're trying to get the max amount of copies, I would say +4, honestly, because the +5, it's a 25% increase in damage, but I'm gonna be honest, I think +4 is probably the best stopping point. You get crit damage increased by 300%, and then target increased by 150%. Insane damage, and the potential for damage with NEBRIS is kind of crazy. And again, this is for 6 turns. So in a way, it synergizes already with her other costume because she gets a physical damage increase based off 150% of her attack. And then her other costume does a similar thing, but the value number isn't as big. Right? So either way, I think however this costume works, I think it's going to be huge. But again, I think it's a buff to herself. I could be wrong. It could be for all the other units. I'm gonna be honest. If it's for all the other units, that's insane. But I think it's for herself. I'm a little worried because I actually want a plus for her, even though the collab is coming up. We'll have to see. I'll go over more information when I do a Should You Pull series for NEBRIS, which will probably be tomorrow or later today. So, like I said, stay tuned. Skill potential damage increased by 50%. At 3, it's 20%. So combined together, if it's at +4, then that's 200% instead of 150% of damage dealt to the target. Okay. After that, we have Dalvey. Oh, wait, we have our weapon, which is attack, exclusive status, 45% increase. Typical for most weapons. Dalvey rerun, I'm going to be honest, this is actually one I want to personally talk about. I will be doing a video on Dalvey, especially with her new costume that came out in the summer. I really do think this is going to be an interesting topic to talk about. But, like I said, and like I've said before in my videos, we've got the collab, man. We've got the collab. They're really trying to run us dry before the collab. They really are. But, yeah, other than that, that's about it for the update. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm excited for NEBRIS. We'll see her skill cutscene later in the day. I hope it's really good. Yeah, guys, other than that, I am out. Later.